You're watching WRKM Channel 22, number one in the region. The following WRKM broadcast is it's for everyone, really. 'Cause I don't think there are mature audiences anymore. And what we need to talk about tonight, we should all be together for. This show is for all Americans, really. And I want you to come in and just join me in my victory lap. 'Cause I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. But we will get to how I told you so in tonight's episode. So come, let's be together and let's walk hand in hand into oblivion together. Let's have the talks we can't have when the sun is up or until the president decides to cancel his show. Good evening. I'm Ralphie Martinez in this When in Darkness. How about that, Take a little break, renegotiate some contracts. And in that time, the things you prophesize all come true. It's almost as if the very things that this show is built on, talked about, criticized, kept you informed of, all came true. Now, a better man would not gloat. He would be humble in these times and just hope that the message was disseminated, sent out to the widest net imaginable. But I am not that man. I am far from that man. In fact, I'm the wrong man in this situation because I am a petty bitch. I'm fine with being a petty bitch. It's kind of what Puerto Rican men do. We're always half effeminate, half not. And the part of us that is effeminate is petty as fuck. So fuck it. Told you so. I told you. People said, Ralph, you can't go around calling powerful elites pedophiles. I did. I did anyway. You all told me I was nuts. Guess who's right now? Guess who's right now? Now, I want to point this out. I was not one of the QAnon crazies. They have a very Marvel Cinematic Universe version of what I'm talking about. I am well researched. I am a real, true blue conspiracy theorist. I only acknowledge the good stuff that have evidence that I can prove, or at the very least, extrapolate from. So surely, when I told people, this Epstein guy might be a problem. When I said this in 2006, 2008, just no one seemed to understand what I already knew, that this man was hanging out with a bunch of powerful people. And there's a reason why Alex Jones keeps talking about him. Now, this is when Alex Jones was kind of normal. If you can imagine, there was a time where Alex Jones was a normal guy. My dear beloved Alex had a lot of things to say. Some true, some not so true. Some very confusing. Like when he told me Putin would be in charge of the New World Order, but then things changed and funding changed, and now he was no longer the leader of the NWO. Then was Obama. And then when that didn't take, he went back to Putin. Then he went to President Xi. He's, you know, he's like, I think of him as like conspiratorial jazz, baby. He's always jamming. He feels a vibe. He plays a new chord. Can't blame Alex for being flexible, I guess. But when I mentioned, you know, the Sounds of Freedom guy that they based the movie off of, he's a little creepy. He's a little weird. People should watch out for him. Then it came out that people in his organization were molesting children. I gloated a little bit then. I went, told you. Then those same people who were obsessed with child trafficking, who did not believe anything the mainstream media told them or any narrative whatsoever, then decided to elect the guy who they believed would release the Epstein files, who also happened to be his best friend for 10 years. And I said, humbly, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think he's going to release him. Something tells me he has a vested interest. No. He's a hero, many said. He was breaking apart the system. He was going to go after the pedophiles because he himself had all the connections. He was in the trenches. He made all these connections to do this bigger mission, which was to take down the pedophiles. And boy, did that guy who you said would take down the pedophiles not take down the pedophiles. In fact, he is keeping files from being released. So how about that? I was right yet again. I think it deserves a round of applause for that. That's right. Thank you. You're great. Love you too. I deserve a round of applause because I am an OG conspiracy theorist. You mean to tell me that you people who are new to this didn't pick up on rule number 1, trust no one, and always know the calls coming from inside the house? Because it always is. When the person who alerts you to the conspiracy is alerting you to the conspiracy, that means they have some part of the conspiracy, or they are going to benefit if you believe in the conspiracy. That's how it works. Every time. And now I do empathize with some people. It's their first conspiracy. They've never gone down this rabbit hole before. They never thought to do any of the real research that it takes to stand up to powerful elites and the things they do in the dark. And that's fine. I guess I empathize. But you came in hot, didn't you? You came in hot telling everybody, you don't know what's really going on. I do. And my president does. He's going to save all of us. You came in a little hot, kid. And it happens to all of us when we first learn about things. When you first learn the quote-unquote truth behind the lies, you get excited. I know something no one else knows. I should go tell everyone. But the one problem with it was you married the truth to an ideology, and you can't do that. If you are a truth seeker, which many have put in their Instagram and Twitter bios, you cannot pick a side. You have to objectively look at the whole big picture. And make the best guesses you can, make the best analytical. What am I looking for here, Bob? What's the word? This decisions, thoughts, conclusions. See, even a veteran like me does not always have all the words, but I've had the feelings. But I would just like to say, you're welcome. You're welcome. I too remember my first conspiracy. 9/11. That was my first conspiracy. Then you go through the rabbit hole and you realize a lot of that stuff doesn't add up really, conspiracy-wise. Except for Building 7. That still is a question to me. I'm not entirely sold on that one. I'm not sure about it. It seems like something I can understand. But there's just certain questions I need a real engineer to answer for me. But I remember I was excited too. I was excited running around telling people, your government killed all those people. Your government's the reason why those buildings fell. And that's the real truth. And you're all being lied to. I was excited. I was also 13. I was not as literate as I could have been. Not as well read. My brain was not fully developed. Which, to be fair, happens when you're young and you aren't educated. Sometimes you just get got. But in this case, a lot of people, 70 million of them, have now become patsies to the very child sex ring they were concerned about. And you should not be down about it, because look at Lee Harvey Oswald. He had to shoot somebody to become a patsy. You, on the other hand, just had to walk into a voting booth and cha-ching, I'm a patsy now. Congrats. Most people live their lives never being a patsy, being part of some kind of dark, shady thing. Now you are. Now you're part of the cover-up. Good for you. You've made some good choices, I think. Who doesn't long to be part of a cover-up? That's how you have to look at it. You're not going to get the truth, so fuck it, go the other way. Be part of the cover-up. Be a patsy for pedophiles. A patsy for petties. I don't know if we can make that a t-shirt. I would love to make it a hashtag. Charlie Kirk is a patsy for petties. Tucker Carlson sometimes is a patsy for petties. Though now he's trying to rebrand. And I respect it. I respect a good rebrand. Laura Loomer's a patsy for petty. That's how it happens. Adam from the PBD podcast, patsy for petty. Now some people don't want to be a patsy for petties. Some people feel like they were deceived. Feel like, well, there's that. I didn't vote for all these deportations. I didn't vote for the Epstein files not being released. This is not the president or the man I voted for. And these tend to be people with podcasts, like Andrew Schultz, who had a daughter and still voted for Donald Trump. Let that resonate for a minute. Can't wait for the conversation in the home for that one. Daddy, why is she British? But she's British to me. Daddy, is it true that you voted for a pedophile? Well, I didn't know. I was voting for the economics. Like he told me he would do things to the Epstein. He told me he would do the right thing. But he's a liar. All through history, a liar. But you voted for him, knowing about the rape allegations. And you're like, well, I didn't believe those women. You didn't believe the women. There were civil suits that he lost. 1 allegation, 2 allegations, 3 allegation, 4. Best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 10 years. And you still voted for the pedophile. Yeah. The other guy was a corpse. Well, he wasn't on the ballot, now was he? It was the black woman that was on the ballot. So you didn't want to vote for the black woman. No, I found her annoying. Okay. So you found that woman annoying. Okay. So instead of voting for the woman that was annoying, You voted for the pedophile. Do I understand that correctly? Is that what you're telling me, Dad? Yeah. And it was really good being a conservative mouthpiece on podcasts for a while because you made money doing it. Gotcha. And hopefully by this time she'll ask for some kind of emancipation from him, realizing that she is no longer safe in her home as her dad is dumb enough to vote for a pedophile. Theo Von also feels deceived, though I'm not surprised. Theo's not the brightest one of us, but he is the most earnest and sincere, so I actually don't have a lot of negativity towards Theo. I think he feels a lot of things, and those feelings get in the way of thoughts. Joe Rogan, on the other hand, is, well, someone I listened to for years, and I can tell you, there's not a lot of thinking going on there. Never was. You were really watching the show less for him and more for who's on it. And that's what made him a great interviewer. I cared nothing about the things he had to say. It was always the guest. Except when he had Eric Weinstein on. I fucking hate Eric Weinstein. There is no fucking bigger pick-me in conservative media than Eric fucking Weinstein. This motherfucker cries all the time about not being picked up by the Trump administration because he's so fucking smart, apparently. But I have yet to see any evidence of what he's done. His grand geometric unity theory is constantly being debunked by much smarter scientists. Jesus. Just talking about his dumbass theory is hurting my own vocabulary. But this man is constantly concerned about things outside his purview. And he should just stick to being Peter Thiel's bitch boy, which is where he belongs. Here we are. You should research these people. I don't got time to tell you about them. This is intellectual dark web lore. You fucking deal with that. But a lot of people magically did not see this coming. They were confused by it. And I'm not surprised. Because 1 in 5 Americans are illiterate. That's 40 million people. That's 40 million Americans who are illiterate. And then the rest of them do not read higher than a 6th grade level. So subtext and the potential of things not being literal, that maybe there's some kind of scheme behind the words, is lost on them. That somehow people don't mean what they say. How about that? And to be fair, this is the kind of society Ronald Reagan wanted. He said if we had a college-educated base, they would never win another election again. And here we are. The dumbest people are running our country. The dumbest people are running our media. And I'm kind of into it. The best thing about having an illiterate society is you can start banning books because people don't read them. People are not interested in the books anymore. They are interested in a TikTok. So you can burn the books, get rid of the books, rewrite history. They'll never know because they're not looking at the books. And then you can have people go on TikTok and create reels about history that the everyday person will never research, and convince them of a new mythology. So America can rebrand itself as a white Christian nation, apparently. Though one would say the founding fathers were not really Christian. Some were secretly atheist. What can you do? But that's the beauty of an illiterate society. We have let the dum-dums lead the dum-dums to oblivion. And I'm into it. Because being one of the last smart people, that's right. I'm going to be that guy now. I'm going to be the smart guy now. Fuck you. I'm going to say I'm smart. You don't think I'm smart? You can kiss my ass. You're an idiot. That's it. Done. This guy's got the brains. I'm doing the research. I'm reading books. Reading a lot of books, actually. I just finished a book, actually, called They Thought We Were Free. Or We Thought We Were Free. It was the Weimar Republic, right in the last days before Nazi Germany took over. And you'd be surprised how much it's kind of reminiscent a lot of dudes just kind of fell in line because they didn't want to be outcast. And you look at a lot of the right wing, red pill manosphere shit, it's a lot of dudes just pretending that if you broke them down or a girl happened to say hi to them, they'd melt. So it's kind of interesting to see people just fall in line because they don't want to be the other. We've othered black people. We've othered Latinos. We've othered immigrants. Everyone wants to be an American. They want to wave the flag now. Not because deep down they have some sense of patriotism, because they know they won't be fucked with if they just wave the fucking flag. Now, that's not the freedoms that America was built on. The flag is just a flag. You're free to practice any religion, any belief you want. That's what they want. They let the Quakers into this country. They started the country and Quakers were here. Now, I have nothing against the Quakers. Just think they could have come up with a better name for the brand. But they were here. It wasn't all Christian-y. There was some Protestants, which, I can take or leave. There was some secret Muslims here, too. That's another thing I've been reading about. I'm going to do an episode on that. But there was plenty of people who believe other things. Other, ways of life, other philosophies. But they were still American, though. But if you have a literate society, you can wipe those out and repaint the American mythology as you see fit. And who does it benefit when you start reading the books? When you no longer care about the history of things or doing the research? The tech oligarchs do. And let's think about this now, right? I wrote this down because I was thinking about not the tech overlords are in control. Who's going to have what? Elon Musk controls the satellites with Starlink, the narrative with Twitter, the cars with Tesla, and the future with Neuralink and AI, right? Zuckerberg, your social history, the digital history, billions of users through Meta and Instagram alone. So he can literally rewrite the history of everything very easily. He's got everyone already signed in. Jeff Bezos controls global logistics, infrastructure with AWS, surveillance with Ring and Alexa. Peter Thiel, Palantir, military-grade surveillance, predictive policing, deep influence, and far-right policies. There you go. Those are your new fucking guys. They're the real cabinet. This is the Illuminati you were talking about, that you were worried about. But because they quote-unquote owned the libs, that was enough. So you got your pedophile ring, you got your Illuminati. Not the way you wanted, but you got it. So you made good on those promises. You didn't destroy them, you just empowered them. I love it. I love it. You traded in your freedoms because you were scared of trans people. Which trans people do not get arrested for molestation. It's Christian pastors that do. Grindr crashes every RNC within the city limits. Why? Because they're all closeted individuals. Because they deep down want to be gay. And I would welcome a Republican senator, a congressman to come on this show and come out. I'm the best person to come out to. I do not judge. You can be whatever you want to be. You can come out on this show. You will not be judged. Now I will ask why you spent so many years supporting policies against what you are on the inside. That will have to be asked. I'm sorry. I may not be Andrew Schultz, the top political interviewer of our generation, but I'm someone who likes to seek the truth. Maybe that's enough. But there you go. You traded all in because you were afraid of the gays. And to be honest, the gays, they don't have the power they used to. You know? They used to call it the pink mafia. I remember this. Like there was a fear of the pink mafia. And you don't want to piss off the pink mafia because they'll come after you and take everything from you. They can't even do that anymore. But you know who can? The tech bros. And they will. Along with BlackRock and all the other people that have been empowered by this administration and your votes. It's such a sad self-owned. Like, in some way, yes, I do like the victory lap. But it's such a sad self-own. Because it's such a self-own. You went from bitching about the elites to empowering them. You literally created your own overlords. You became part of the cover-ups. You are the conspiracy now. You, in pro wrestling, we call this working yourself into a shoot, brother. You worked so hard, you started to believe some of this shit. And now here you are. You are the thing now. What a time. What a time. Holy shit. This would be so much fun if it wasn't so secretly terrifying. But I'm still going to have fun, though. I can't. Having fun with the darkness is my cope. My therapist told me that once, years ago when I was a kid. She says you're drawn to dark things because deep down, you are expecting to be disappointed. And the only way to deal with them is to be pre-disappointed and make the jokes ahead of time. God damn it, Linda, you were right. And here I am. What? 30 years later, still doing it. Can't do anything else, can I? It's my move. It's what I do. Trump's already trying to push this Obama DOJ thing, and I've been seeing it pick up steam in the algorithms. I'm seeing less about him being friends with a pedophile and more about Obama and his DOJ case, in which he was part of coming up with fake evidence that Trump was linked to Russia, which, if he did, then we should handle that accordingly. I am not against holding people accountable for the crimes they commit. But the truth is, how much did he actually know? If the CIA and other intelligence departments are coming with fake reports, does he know they're fake reports? No. He thinks they're real ones. He's not the first president to be lied to by his intelligence agencies. Eisenhower told Allen Dulles, "You left me with an empire of ashes." Because all he thought was happening was, oh, we're liberating countries. No, we were overthrowing governments to rob them. Poor Eisenhower, I think. When you want to sit around and just get drunk and play golf, that's kind of the presidency you get, don't you? Just about to keep your eye on the ball. The right one. It's the country you get. It's the country you get when everyone's dumb. When there is no education anymore. When people don't know how the government works. When people don't do any research whatsoever. And at some point, I remember when the Epstein files first became kind of a thing again. Guys like Andrew Schultz felt upset that people were holding him accountable, going, this is what you voted for. No, I didn't vote for this. I voted for the economy. I didn't think he would deport people. Project 2025. I didn't think he would be skeevy about the Epstein files. He was very skeevy about it all the time. Every time you ask him about it, he got really weirded out. It wasn't as if there was evidence of all of this. And that's the thing about it. Like, they want us now. He was telling the Pod Save Bros, and God bless the Pod Save Bros for daring to go on that show and try this tired tactic, which never benefits Democrats. We are always the ones told to reach across the aisle and to treat the Republicans with kid gloves because they don't know any better. They don't know. Poor buddies, they got tricked. We should bring them over to us. Where I have the perspective of the same way they tell us to pick ourselves up from our bootstraps to solve our economic issues. Oh, you got fucked by your president? Well, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and come walk over to the other side. Because I ain't carrying you there. Personal responsibility, you preach it, start taking it. You know what to do when midterms come. Vote the way you should have. Because now you can see none of these fucking people care about you. None of them do. It's amazing to watch a lot of the MAGA Republicans now go, maybe the Democratic Socialists were kind of right. No shit. No shit. You mean the people whose hearts were in the right place the entire time? Who, granted, a little annoying sometimes, were the real populists the entire time? They were the most consistent the entire time. Really? It's absurd. But that's the thing about it. What they want is democratic socialist ideas, but only for quote unquote Americans, quote unquote whites. Let's not lie here, you know? Let's not pretend. If you did a poll of how many MAGA people are also a little racist, it would be overwhelming. Based on all the things we've seen them talk about, all the things they seem to advocate for, it's kind of funny watching black browns still be MAGA at this time when you've seen a lot of our brethren shipped out. And not just illegal brethren, American legal brethren, citizens. Which makes me ask, when my time comes, and he's had enough of me saying bullshit on WRKM, and WRKM is forced to cancel me, and then I continue to go pirate radio style, and he finally deports me, which he technically can't, from Puerto Rico, but that hasn't stopped him before, and sends me to El Salvador, where I started learning how to make a shank from some MS-13 members. Could be fun. But when I'm in El Salvador, who will take care of my family? Which one of my friends who voted for Trump will take care of my family? I'd like to know. Just curious. I would like to make those plans now, because the inevitable is always the inevitable. It's been something I've been trying to talk about for like the last couple of weeks and the last couple episodes on this show. And I don't know if people are ready for it. But maybe it's our time to lose. Maybe it's time for it to all be over. The American empire, American society, all of it. Maybe we've had a run. And it's okay that we've had a run. We had a fine run. We went to the moon. We fought ourselves over slavery. We ended up doing the right thing, but then not doing the right thing. We built the internet. We beat Nazis once until we started becoming Nazis, and that's a whole story in itself. We did so much in our run. What an empire. No empire is as great as our empire. But empires lose. And here's the thing, right? Like I've been a sports fan for the most part of my entire life. You go through these bad seasons. And the truth is, when I say maybe it's our time to lose, what I'm trying to get to is a feeling of we never once took the time to figure out how we lost certain things. And when you don't have a good autopsy about where things are, you can't be honest. We keep having the same coaches. And their play style is not very different. Not the offense isn't all that different. The defense isn't all that different. It's just a little bit over here, a little bit over there. A little bit left, a little bit right. What we need is a full franchise revival. New GMs, new logo maybe. Maybe we need a new logo, new jerseys. A new way of looking at this shit. You know, new coaches, new coaching staff, a new culture. You got every team, they all go through, we got to change the culture up to have a winning culture. It sucks, but you gotta do it. It takes years to get done. But when you've done it, you've made yourself a good team that's not just profitable, but in championship contention. Now you don't always win the championship when you make all these changes. But then you go to like smaller rebuilds. Like, all right, like this worked. Let's try to rebuild this way. But at the very least, you made some attempts at changing things. Taking a gamble, rolling the fucking dice, right? Essentially, that's what America needs. We need the ultimate rebuild. And I don't know if people are really ready for that. I don't know if people have really thought that one through. But given the state of things, isn't it a perfect time to vote for Mamdani? Like, let's be honest, right? Like, it's a perfect time to roll the fucking dice. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm voting for him. I'm rolling the fucking dice. If it's all fucked anyway, and this is not gonna get any fucking better, roll the dice on the boy. Why not? What do you got to lose? I gotta be careful, because when I endorse things, people lose. The Yanks lose. The Badgers football team continues to lose. Kamala lost. I am a losing culture. So I need to maybe do a rebuild and not necessarily run out and endorse him just yet. But God damn it, I want to. But I'm no Hakeem Jeffries, though. I'm open to it. And I want to. But I'm sparing him from the loser energy I have. Trying to protect him. He's a good man in a fucked up city, but a good man. But that's what we need. We need a rebuild. I don't know. I don't know if people are ready for that. What it takes to make that rebuild happen. We have to question everything. We tried that before, right? We were told that we couldn't question America's history. That the 1619 Project was some kind of an abomination because how dare we reframe the founding of America? How dare we question it? How dare we talk about the race politics of America over time? That critical race theory was a problem because it only saw everything through race, but it was certainly a tool to look at America. And if we are not allowed to question America, how can we fix America? This is the thing we keep going through. We keep being surprised. We get the same bullshit, but we never question why we get the same bullshit. George Carlin had a great bit. He was like, look at the country. He's like, do you expect this country to provide you with the best candidates? So an education system that's failing, 1 in 5 Americans are fucking illiterate. Who do you think are our best and brightest? And if someone was smart enough to fix all this, would you even listen to him? You wouldn't even listen to Jesus Christ at this point. And that's where we're at. The smart people in the room are no longer beloved. They're ridiculed. The experts are out. Because yes, the experts were kind of wrong sometimes. And yes, a lot of them were fucking holding on to the status quo. But look what happened. You broke all the status quos. You broke all the taboos. Now look where we are. Looks like you got to rebuild some of them shits. Looks like you got to go back a little bit. Or reinterpret them for future generations. But are we ready to do that? I think it all starts with a very fundamental idea. I wrote about this on Dispatches from the Darkness Substack. You can subscribe to now. There'll be a link in the description. I've been writing essays there now. I have been podcasting because for some reason, I think I've been thinking about my my old mentor Decker a lot, and he used to write a lot of essays, and I think I kind of got back into them because of that. But I wrote an essay called "The Verse and the Chorus," and to simplify it, America always agrees on the chorus of things. We're all American, stars and stripes, yay. But what makes a song is its verses. And those are unique, personal experiences that tell bigger truths more than the chorus ever could. The chorus is what you unify around. The verse is the things that hit you deeply. And in this case, I would say I'm Puerto Rican American. The verse, Puerto Rican, the chorus, American. And I think that works for Italian Americans. German Americans. That's what we are. We are in itself the verse and the chorus of the nation. And our verses, granted, all come from a unique writing style, but they're all talking about the same things, the same desires, the same needs. And until we can agree on what the commonalities in our verses are, you cannot fix the chorus and you cannot fix the song. The song will not work unless there's an agreement that the verses matter, whether they're uncomfortable, whether they challenge what you believe, even if they challenge your own verse. You have to be ready to accept that there are different verses here. And once you start understanding the verses of other people, now you put together a hell of a song. Everyone's got to have their spot in this. This is a chorus, not a solo effort. And because the country has sampled so much, we are already operating from a place that is not necessarily an original piece. But out of sampling, we can make something special. So I think when I talk about it's our time to lose, it's our time to lose the old music. Throw away the old chorus. Rip up the lyrics. Rip it all up. And let's start at the base of what it is to be an American. And it's not one particular culture. It's not one particular race. It's a set of ideas that you come here and you choose to be American. You legitimately, you choose to be American. You can come to America and just be a German in America. You pay your taxes, but you identify still as German. But to become an American, you go through a process. You go through the test, and it's a choice. America was always a choice. If you choose to be American, what are you choosing to be exactly? You believe in freedoms. You believe in the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, though there's some debate there on that. The Constitution. But the second you no longer choose to be American because you no longer believe in the Constitution, you no longer believe in democracy or the Republic as it stands, one nation under God. Nice reference, right? But the second you have decided that you do not believe in what America stands for anymore, now we have to have a different conversation. What should it stand for in 2025? Because we know what it stood for in 1776, but they didn't imagine a country like this big, this many people. So we'd have to have a new discussion on what it means to be American. And I'm going to tell you right now, with a certain group of people, it's going to be very uncomfortable because they think they're the purest Americans. But we're going to have to remind them what the ideas of America were and why those ideas make all of us American, even the undocumented immigrant here. He comes here to make a better life for himself, to achieve the American dream. That's American. Everyone came from somewhere. That's American. And if we are so fucking proud of this chorus that we just seem to fucking blare out of every fucking radio and annoy every other country with, then we're going to have to start talking about these verses. Because the song don't hit no more. A remix might be needed. So I don't know. Maybe that's how I look at our time to lose. Maybe in the oblivion, we make a new song. Or maybe the last one of us still standing writes it. Because they'll have seen it all happen. I don't know. Maybe it's our time to become like every other despot nation, where the low to middle class are just workers. We're too broke to want anything, so we're too broke to eat. We're too hungry to learn, too hungry to organize. So the elites who just manage to make it through, or it's hand down to, just run things. We don't own anything. We're happy. Everything's behind a paywall. And you own nothing, and you'll just be a citizen of the state. And then when people get out of line, they'll be canceled because Donald Trump now believes in cancel culture now. And that'll just be it. He'll tell us how to live. He'll tell us when to die. He'll tell us when we need to get done, what we should pay attention to. And that'll be it. We don't know how to take losses in this country ever. We didn't take Vietnam well. Didn't take the war on terror well. We don't know how to lose. It's time for us to learn how to lose. Because apathy, you can't really come with apathy. Not to get gross. There's no excitement there. It's boring. It's not sexy. But oblivion, now that's sexy. That's fun. Because we're all racing towards oblivion, really. Drinking, boozing, we're fucking, we're doing drugs. That's what the French call orgasms a little deaf. Because that's the oblivion. There's no better feeling than that. It's all downhill from there. Or then you have to rebuild to get to that feeling again. We're overdue. We got one last good come in us. And that's it. And then we have to rebuild. We've just been jizzing all over the place. Wow. This got sad very quickly. I'm kind of bummed out, actually. All this time, I wondered what the possible end would look like. And this is it. We got 3 more years of this guy. And now it's kicking into high gear. Well, at least I didn't vote for the pedophile. There's that. And you know what? For the hell of it, I'll absolve all of you who did. There you go. You're good. Don't worry about it. Wasn't like you voted for fascism, which was on the ballot. No, not you. You were deceived. You were illiterate. It's fine. It's fine. Ronald Reagan did it. He finally made America too dumb to function. And that's how we're going out. We're going out as morons. Like in The Matrix, they have the whole second renaissance, and you see vanity and corruption was what destroyed Earth at that time, or led to the robot uprising. But we're just going out for being dumb. We're just dumb. Most people are too dumb to function. That's it. And those of us who have working brains, now, well, how fun. How fun. Anything else? We do not have anything else. Have anything else? The dark future is here. The pedophile ring is in control. And you elected it. But I think we all know how this one is going to end.